Today we're talking about confidence, mental obstacles, and motivation as a pre-PT. These are things that affect all of you right now, especially, I mean, regardless of where you are in the journey, whether it's at the point of application, where you're at the mental obstacle of, man, like, am I actually going to get in? Waiting. A lot of you right now are really waiting to hear back from schools. Some have already been waitlisted, so you're waiting to hear if that changes, if that status changes. You're waiting to hear after your interview whether they accepted you or not. You're waiting to hear if you're gonna get an interview. There's all these different things, but they become obstacles for us. What's up, Kev? How you doing, brother? And so today we're gonna talk to you guys about confidence, things that you guys can do to be confident. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, brother? We also got mental obstacles, how you guys can avoid mental obstacles, and ultimately how y'all can stay motivated as pre-PT students. Y'all, as you guys come on, as you guys are watching this as a replay, this is going to be some good information. What's up, Trey? How are you doing?
What's up, Trey?
All right, man. So, Casey, let's talk about this confidence thing. I think there's a misconception that as an individual, I'm the only one that's struggling with confidence. Like, that's how we all feel, right? Like, we all feel like, man, I'm the oddball out of here. You know, everyone else seems to be able to kind of, hold their ish together. But the reality of it is that's part of just being human. Like, we all feel that. At some point, Casey's felt that. At some point, we all feel it because that's how we are wired as human beings. And so there are other components that we have to add to our lives in order to counter that lack of confidence, right? And so, honestly, the biggest part is when we feel like we don't have much control, when we feel like whatever it is that we are encountering, like we don't have much of a say in it. Like let's say, for example, like in academics, if you feel like your semester is getting out of hand and you're not able to keep up with it, like that's going to bring down your confidence. If you have an exam grade that's not the best, that's going to bring down your confidence because now it's just this what if I don't do as well? What if I'm not accepted? What if I don't get the interview? What if I go in there and it doesn't go so well? Like, all these things are normal. So if you're feeling them at any point, don't feel as though it's abnormal to feel the way you're feeling. We've all felt that in some way, shape, or form. But there are ways to counter it, because the reality of it is, yes, it is natural to feel a lack of confidence, but confidence is going to be pivotal for each and every one of you as pre-PTs. It's going to be big. Whether you feel it in the moment, whether you have to fake it till you make it initially, but confidence is going to be big because it allows you to be comfortable in your own skin. When we had the 5-day video series, like, one of the biggest things that we were talking about with interviews is like being like 100% you, like being 100% you. Like that was so key. But you can't do that if you're not comfortable in your own skin. If you're not comfortable with your accomplishments, if you're not comfortable with just the way you do things, the way you walk, the way you, like, all of that is part of what makes you you. Like, for those of y'all applying right now, for those of y'all doing interviews and so on and so forth, like, you guys have to realize that schools are not looking for the same person to fill up their program. If that was the case, that program would go underground quickly. They need the diversity. They need different personalities. They need different drives. I mean, they need y'all to all do well because it looks good for them when y'all graduate and pass your boards and all that good stuff. But they actually do want the variety. So you almost have to be you. And we always talk about standing out. We always talking about being different as a pre-PT and sticking out. Like, that is one of the biggest ways to do it. So, confidence. Casey, how do we counter this feeling of lack of confidence as pre-PTs, man?
Yeah, so confidence is something that, like, we all want in, like, someone else, right? We all are like, oh, I want that confident person to work with me, to be in my group, to be on my basketball team, to be in my PT program, to be my husband or wife. But we all struggle with it. We're like, yeah, I want somebody to be confident, but it's not me. I can't be confident. I have this going on. I have that going on. Just like you said, it's like, it's a real internal struggle, and it happens every day with almost everything. So a good way, at least for me, that I at least try to overcome this confidence thing, whatever we're calling it, is like I try to focus a lot on the small wins that I have either throughout the day, throughout the week, year, things like that. So, for instance, if we're talking about just your struggle, because we want to bring value to you as pre-PTs, if we're talking about the pre-PT journey, and let's just say you're applying for the first time, second time, doesn't matter. If we break those things down into very small, that builds up confidence. So I listened to this podcast. It's not PT related at all, but the main person on that podcast talks about laying the 5 bricks. Am I coming through good?
Yes, you are. Okay? Yes, you are.
So he talks about laying the 5 bricks. And when you do that, that builds up your confidence over time. So, for example, if you do 5 things today, then you do 5 things tomorrow, you do 5 things today, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter if we're talking about interviews. If you go up and talk to an old lady in the grocery store, that's 1 brick. If you talk to your professor, that's another brick. If you practice your interview questions, that's 3. And you do 3 or 5 every day. By the time your interview comes, or by the time your essay comes, we can even apply this to prerequisites.
Yeah.
And that is 1 brick. Got an A on the next paper, got an A on that test. That's 3 bricks, 5 bricks. And by the time you're done, you have a full wall. You have a full wall just from laying the 5 bricks. Then when you look back at that wall, you're like, that's all me. That was all my responsibility. That was all my fault. That was all my wins. And that was all because of me. So when you look back at that, that will give you supreme confidence. Supreme confidence. So if we focus on the small win, whether it's pre-PT, whether it's DPT school, whether it's you're already a clinician now, that's, at least for me, that's how I try to build my confidence. Like, oh, I already done this. Oh, okay, my chest, puffs out a little bit better. My posture, I stand up a little taller. I'm short, but I stand up a little taller. And I'm like, oh, I did this, I did that. But nobody can stop me now. Then I feel invincible. By the time that application comes, by the time that interview comes, I'm walking tall, I'm dressed nice, I'm smiling, I'm confident, firm handshake, because I practiced. I put in the work, I did my responsibility, and everything that I look back on now is my fault. So now I know going forward that everything I do from there is my fault as well. So I have confidence because, I have the back of that chair to lean on that I've already did. I have that brick wall to lay on. Do it. Like it's already done. So that's my little take on this whole confidence thing. It's easier said than done. I know, because it's life. It happens all the time. Like I was just in lab. We were in orthopedics lab, and I messed up like kinesio tape. I was like, what am I doing? I shouldn't even be. I'm a 3rd-year PT student messing up on kinesio tape. Like, come on. Like we all struggle with like little simple things like that. So if we focus on the good, confidence will be no problem at all. So that's my little take on it.
No, I agree 100%, man. Like I think with every single thing, we can always break it down. So just like Casey said, like having it set up so that you're doing all these small things, whether it's those 5 things you're doing every single day to take you closer to the one thing that you're not as confident about, whether it's from your interview to how your test grades are. Like that's one of the biggest things that benefited me, right? I'm a visual person, so I had to write it down. Same thing Casey was saying, like it wasn't enough for me. What's up? How you doing? Like, and so like for me, it wasn't enough to just have it in my head, knowing, okay, I did this thing today. I did this thing. No, like I had to see it for myself. So I had a whiteboard in my room where I wrote everything. I wrote everything down. I was like, this is what I did, and this is what it has to do. Man, let me give y'all an example real quick. So I'm a physical therapist right now, right? And the one way I convince my patients every single day to lock in to their plan of care is this. We know where they were when they came in. We know where they want to get to, whether they're trying to get to playing with their grandkids, whether they're an athlete trying to get back to playing football, whether they're a runner and they're trying to get back to running their full marathon this October. It doesn't really matter. Every single day, I got to say, this is where we were. This is where we are today. This is why what we're doing today has to do with where you're going. Boom. And every single time they're locked in and they're motivated. They come in like all these things. We said confidence, mental obstacles, and motivation. All of them have to do with the same thing. Every single day they're coming in. Obviously, we got some music popping. I'm in the clinic right now. But like every time, like music's popping, we're hype, all that good stuff, whatever. But at the end of the day, It's those little milestones that keep them locked in, right? If they did not have that, they would feel, even though myself as a therapist can see that they're getting better, that they're getting closer to care, like they might not be as motivated. They'll be like, man, Joseph's like, my knee's been still, I mean, it's been a week and a half. My knee's still hurting. Okay, but we've gotten this and this and this. And this is what the plan of care looked like. And I mean, so because you've broken it up, this is how you guys break all this entirely. Think about it with exams. For those of y'all taking classes, right? You're like, man, like I'm not confident about my next exam. It's in 2 weeks. Fine, cool. Semester just began. It's in 2 weeks. What do? Do you just sit there and say, well, we'll see how we do? You know, it's chem, it's physics or what? No. You have to break it up. You have to say, okay, I got myself 2 weeks. What am I going to do to break it up so that by the end of these 2 weeks, I'm good to go? What am I going to do? Like, how am I going to get there? You have to break it up. You have to say, okay, today I'm going to have to study half of this chapter or this full chapter. Or today I'm just going to run into someone like Casey and ask him a few questions, see what he remembers. Let me do a recap. Or today I'll just review. I mean, you figure it out. By the time you walk into that exam, you're not stressing because you know I covered all my bases. I actually took my time and I made sure I covered it because I broke it up to, I know I didn't miss anything. Interview, I broke it up. I didn't wait till the night before to show up and be like, oh my goodness, like what am I going to do tomorrow when I show up at the school? Like, what do I say? Let me post on the pre-doctor physical therapy students page last minute and see what someone says I should do. No. You say 3 weeks before the interview, all right, I got to kill this thing. Who do I contact? Somebody that's done it before. Obviously, pre-PT grind's an easy one. But even on the pre-doctor physical therapy students page, right? I go on there. I find someone who I can maybe practice with. Can I practice with you? Can I do a run through? Yes, they can ask me random questions, but let me practice my flow of speech. Tell me if I'm answering these questions correctly. Like, do it. Like, y'all realize every single thing you do repeatedly, you've done it before. So by the time you actually show up, you're like, I've done an interview before. I've actually done several of them. No, they weren't with this program, but I did them with my friend. I did them with Casey. I did one with Joseph because I practiced with them. So at that point, you're so much more comfortable in how you're going to do because you've been there, done that. You've broken it up. This is really how you have to do it. But I think even on top of this, with addressing confidence, mental obstacles, and motivation, it's really goal setting and setting yourself around the right people. Like that's going to be huge. Goal setting really plays into what Casey and I just talked about, but setting yourself around the right people is going to be big. I know for a fact that as a pre-PT, like who I surrounded myself with really determined everything, really determined what I was going to be doing for the weekend, really determined what I was going to be doing that evening. It determined how hard I was going to be working for my classes. And I realized really fast who I needed to interact with during the weekdays. Otherwise, I was going to be digging myself into a hole because it's really hard to be a lone ranger as a pre-PT. As in, it's really hard to be on your grind when nobody else around you is on their grind, right? So look at your surroundings. Who have you surrounded yourself with? Like, who is in your ear? Who's the one saying, man, you don't got to worry about that exam. Like, I took that last semester. It was nothing. It was nothing. Come on, hang out with us. We'll be out for the night. You'll be back by 3 a.m. You'll catch 3 hours of sleep. You'll be back in class. You'll be good to go. Y'all ever had that conversation? Shoot. Like, this happens all the time. And this is what sets us up for failure. This is what sets us up for the night before an exam where we say, I'm no longer confident. This is what sets us up for the night before an interview and we say, I'm not as confident. This is what every single thing can be completely obliterated. So like we said at the very beginning of this video, for those of y'all that have joined us as we've kept going, as we said at the very beginning of this video, confidence or a lack of confidence is normal. Lack of confidence is normal for all of us. All of us get it. I get it still. Casey gets it. We might not show it, but we get it. But the bottom line is we have to break it up so that we can set ourselves, it's really for yourself, like so we can show ourselves our own track record of preparing for that moment. Every moment you guys go through as pre-PTs, whether it's your application, whether it's trying to get good grades for a semester, whether it's getting your letters of recommendation, every single moment is a milestone. it is a milestone. And so you have to prepare for milestones. Don't let milestones find you unready, like unprepared. Do not let milestones find you unprepared. So true. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You better believe it. You better believe it. You know what, guys? I'll honestly say this. Like, I've actually even, like, I just graduated PT school like mid this year. And already, like in 2017, I completely changed who I hang around with. Now, I didn't eliminate my friends. Like, they're still my buddies. Like, I'll reach out to them and be like, yo, how y'all doing? Given I'm in a different state than most of them now. But the people I interact with the most are people that are always striving more than I am, right? You always want to be with people that are always pushing you in the direction that you want. So what's the direction you want? I want y'all to comment that. Like, what do y'all actually want? Because once you have that clarity, all of this is simple. All of this is simple. What do you guys actually want? What do you really want? Like, do you want to become a PT student? Or do y'all want to, have a blast this semester, just kind of living it up and then say, well, we'll see what happens later? Do you want to get to your patients that are waiting for you 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now? Or do you just kind of want to sit on the couch and, catch up? Well, I do like a few TV shows, so I can't really dog on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say what I like, but that would distract us. But, I mean, are you going to waste your time on that? Or are you going to say, this is what I want? I'm so focused on getting into PT school. I'm so focused on preparing for all these different steps so that when I get there, it doesn't matter how terrified I am right now. It doesn't matter how unconfident I am right now about what I'm going to encounter. I'm going to have prepared so well that by the time I get there, I'll know that I got my track record to lean on, regardless of what happened. Like, I prepared well enough that what I did to get to this point is going to take. That's why we always say, man, like, if someone ever tells you you can't get into PT school, I mean, that's on you. Like, that's your limiting factor. Like, if you believe you can't get into if you believe that you cannot get into PT school, you might very well be right, because you've decided that. But if you believe that you can, you want it bad enough that you're willing to do whatever it takes, most definitely. It's all about recalibration. That's all it is. Recalibration, the right people around you, the right direction. All of those components are all you need every single time. Simple as that. Simple as that. And so I'm not going to lie. Like, I'll be honest tonight. I don't necessarily want people in the PT profession that don't care about people. I don't necessarily want people in the PT profession that aren't willing to grind, actually. Because what that means is we're going to give our patients down the line subpar care. So if you're saying, man, this is such a cool profession, I can, just kind of lay it easy and do the bare minimum.
Easy job security.
This is not for you, y'all. Straight up. It might suck to hear, but it's not for you. But if y'all are ready to change the lives of countless people day after day after day after day, you're in the right profession. You're in the right profession. It's all about direction from here. It's all about figuring out how to break up those steps for you from here. It's all about setting that up so that when you get to that point, whatever milestone it is, you've prepared so well that it doesn't matter what's coming at you. It doesn't matter how much better, Sally's doing than you in class. I don't care that she got straight A's and you got like a C, a B, and an A and whatever all over the place.
So it doesn't matter if it's a group interview or a free question interview that comes up.
Come on, man. Shoot. No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Heck, at a group interview, like, smile at the people there. You know what I'm saying? Be like, man, it's a great story. Give them a little, like, because, like, like, this stuff, like, it might seem like, okay, this is super simple. But if you really think about it, like, this is the key to so many different things. So many different things. And once y'all tap into that, it's unstoppable. Like, you are unstoppable as a pre-PT. That's all it is. That's all it is. Case, you have anything else to add?
Yeah, just one more thing. I don't know if Patrick Schultz is still on here. Well, I'm in a group with him at the PT Hustle. Shout out to Kyle Rice. And they're taking their boards. And he was talking about that voice inside your head that we all get. And I think it was with another group member that we were on a call with or something like that. But personal development. We had a little talk about that, 5-minute talk, 10 minutes, whatever, on personal development and rewiring, or whatever you want to call it, that voice in your head, like right before the NPTE. And in the pre-PT's case, right before the GRE, or right before your chemistry test, right before the interview. Get yourself hyped up, rewire your brain, talk positively. If it's your mom, if it's your dad, if it's a podcast, if it's a book, if it's your favorite song, that is huge. Because not only are you the sum of like the 5 people, 6, 4 people, but that voice, once they're all gone, it's still you there. It's still you saying, oh, what did they say? Oh, snap, I didn't prepare enough. What was that? What was that formula for physics? Oh, crap. Like, you are still there talking to yourself. So that's so huge. If you want to call it like drowning out that voice, if you want to call it positive talk, whatever, that personal development part is huge. Whether it's a YouTube video from Gary Vee, whether it's an Eric Thomas podcast, whether it's Pre-PT Grind podcast, it doesn't matter. Whatever you got to do to pump yourself up, because it's ultimately self-confidence, self-esteem.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't really matter what other people say. It matters what you say about yourself and how you perceive yourself to the world, to the person interviewing you, to the person reading the essay, to the person writing you a letter of recommendation. So if you have that internal confidence, doesn't matter how they perceive you, doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian.
Ooh, talk about it.
Like, come on. It's all, at the end of the day, it all falls on you. So if you can handle that, if you can take that responsibility, boom, it's done. So that personal development is huge. I know you can probably recommend a couple podcasts, a couple books to the live people on live. What you got?
Man, like for personal development?
Yeah.
Shoot, like one of my favorite podcasts that really got me going in the right direction, man, was actually listening to Eric Thomas. Like that was pivotal for me because his way of looking at everything kind of shifted how I understood my game. So your decision equals your confidence. What? Confidence.
Let me pull it back up.
Your confidence.
Confidence.
That's true. Yo, we should create like a diagram with all that. Just kind of set up confidence levels. I like it. No, but yeah, Eric Thomas was big for me. But a lot of it was because like at that time I was looking for a lot of motivation, right? So with confidence, there's a lot of times where we feel like we want to take the most conservative route. We want to be like ultra careful about it, which is not bad. Like I'm a careful person by nature, but we also want to kind of we naturally want to be like, okay, like I don't know, maybe no. But Eric Thomas was just like, nah, fam, like you just gotta go right through it. Like some of those concepts where you actually learn how to fail harder, faster, and better, and then get back up and just like do it over and over again until you succeed. Like those are the biggest things for me. Other things were a book that really did it for me too was The Power of Habit by, I don't even know how to say his last name, Charles Duhigg. Is that what it is?
I think so. I don't know.
Listen. But Power of Habit. That became important for me because, I mean, and for you guys, like you guys should listen to, I mean, Power of Habit, audiobook, like regular buy or whatever. I use Audible, but it changed how I viewed every single thing that I thought kept my day busy. Now, what's the biggest pre-PT issue? Man, like I tried hard this semester, but things just didn't work out, you know? Like I have a lot of things that I'm balancing. What you guys don't realize, there's a lot of junk in your life. A whole lot of junk in your life. So understanding how to recalibrate that, how to reassess the levels or priorities of that, and just train your body to essentially like take habits and reteach yourself to essentially be as efficient and as dominant as possible. And that ultimately leads to a much, much more satisfying experience, not only as a student, but just in life, period. And so those are big ones. And I have several other books that I'm reading, but a lot of them have been just kind of based on what I need, whether it's more motivation, whether it's more confidence, whether it's more strategy, whether it's more organization. All those things have been huge for me. So understanding what your weaknesses are. So saying like what am I actually weak in? Am I just not organized? Am I just all over the place? Or am I Am I just really low? Am I not confident? Am I not motivated? Like, what am I looking for? And then go online and say like books for motivation, books for this, books for that, and you'll see the ones that are most recommended, and just kind of start reaching out to them. And if you guys want to hear more of our list of things that we do, like contact us at contactpreptgrind.com. Right, like tonight, as soon as you want, just be like, hey, can y'all like send me a list of books? Like, send us a message. Contact preptgrind.com. Send us a message, and we'll kind of let you know like what a good five like set of lists, like 5 books that we would recommend you guys to start reading or listening to as soon as possible. How many schools is too many to apply to? I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I usually don't like anything over 5 or 7, just because I think it can be prevented ahead of time. Now, if you've started listening to all the stuff that we've been talking about, and you're applying now, I guess that could be a little different because it's more last minute. But the way we look at it, man, is like 5 schools is the goal. And 5 schools is because if you prepare right for them, it doesn't matter whether you're applying this coming cycle in 2018. We are in 2018, right? I keep forgetting. Like whether it's this cycle in 2018, whether it's next cycle in 2019, 2020, it doesn't matter when. Having 5 schools that you can say, okay, these are the 5 schools I'm going to. And this is not just like flipping a coin and saying these are random 5 schools. No, like you do your research, you understand that these are 5 schools that actually match where I am. If it's grades, you're looking at schools that are looking at your last 60 credit hours. There are some schools that actually look at GPAs that are below a 3.5 or 3.0. I mean, depending on where you're applying. And so you have to kind of assess that and make sure that it matches you. But then now you say, okay, those are the schools I'm going to target. Those are the schools that I'm going to go to their campus visits. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to start communicating with either students from that place or faculty members from there via social media. So you're setting yourself up now, even before you apply, even before the interview. So that, I mean, it's like we were talking about like during the 5-day video series, like when you show up for the interview, you want to have all the intangibles. And all of those come from not only understanding what's on their website, but also understanding what they have to offer outside of that. Things that they're doing that are not on their website, things that you've learned from their students, from their faculty members, and so on and so forth. So 5 schools should really be all it takes if you've done that. Now, if you're applying in 2018, this coming fall, you have time. You have time. And we can help you figure all that out. But that's what you guys need to do. Because here's the honest truth is it costs money to apply for schools. So if you're applying to 10 schools, and this is no disrespect to people who have applied to many schools, if you're applying to 10 schools, that's hundreds of dollars extra that you're paying. If you have the kind of coin to do that, that's fine. But then also ask yourself, why so many? Why so many? Did you just pick schools on, like a few weeks before you submitted on PTCast and just said, hey, this is a good number, maybe one of them will respond to me. Is that how you did it? Because if that's the case, then I understand. You pretty much took a shot in the dark, right? You took a shot in the dark. And so you wanted more places so that you could potentially have a spot, which I understand. Like in that position, that does make sense, but we want you to avoid that. We want you to avoid having to take that shot in the dark. We want it to be strategic. We want you guys to set yourself up so that when you do send it to the 5 schools, you're saying, I've actually invested in understanding them better than they understand me. So when you show up, man, you're talking about them all day long. And they're like, this kid understands us more than any other student applying. They clearly match us because they fit in understanding what we are about. Boom, we want them in because you've set that up. And so honestly, it shouldn't be more than 5, maybe 7, but no, 5 is my go-to number.
I completely agree. That's it. That's it. That's it. What else do we have planned for them for the week? Just for the people who didn't see your beach video the other day.
Yo, listen. So this week we usually have a podcast coming out on Wednesday night. Usually we drop a podcast. This week we're gonna have y'all join us live for a podcast. So if y'all don't want to miss that, like comment podcast me, and we'll make sure that y'all are tagged. So we're going to have a live podcast right here. Casey and I are going to be talking about some pretty cool things regarding pre-PT grind and so on and so forth. But we're going to have a podcast right here. Y'all going to see how we do it. Obviously, it's not going to be like it'll be published after we do it. So you guys will have access to it even afterwards. But just kind of, join us during that time. Let's have some fun. We're not going to be doing a lot of like questions and answers because it's going to be kind of record like a podcast. But if there's things that you want us to address, y'all can be commenting as we're going, and we'll kind of redirect what we're talking about as we see the comments, just because it will be a legit podcast afterwards. But y'all can join us there. And then Friday evening, we're having one of our pre-PT success program students, Sarah. Like she's straight up next level, but she was accepted into multiple PT schools. She'll be joining us live with Pre-PT Grind, talking about her journey, her experience. Y'all need to hear how she got multiple acceptances. Like how did she do that? How did she set herself up for that? And how did the Pre-PT Success Program play a role in that? That goes without being said, that for those of y'all that are interested in knowing when our course releases, which will be very, very soon, like days.
If you're on the waiting list, it's days. We got a lot of people on the waiting list. I don't think y'all know. Y'all might think we're playing around. We got a lot of people on the waiting list.
A lot of people on the waiting list, and we have like we have that many people. They get access to it first. So if y'all are interested in being on the waiting list, send us a message at contactpreptgrind.com. Let us know, hey, I want to be on the waiting list, so that I can find out as soon as you guys launch this thing. Honestly, man, like it's been an amazing process creating a product for y'all that has everything you need, the guidance, the mentorship, the environment, like everything that we've been talking about for the last year on Pre-PT Grind. Y'all get it all, like full access for life, but we'll get to that down the line. But if y'all want to be on that waiting list, y'all send us a message at contactpreptgrind.com or even comment below. It doesn't matter. Like we'll get to you in one way, shape, or form if you are interested in that. But guys, it's been an honor serving you. We ain't going anywhere. We're just getting started. I know it's been months, but we're just getting started in terms of serving y'all as pre-PTs. We want y'all to feel as though you have everything at your disposal to absolutely thrive in this journey of becoming physical therapists. You guys are the future and the presence of our profession. So we want to make sure that y'all have everything so that the profession can go so much further down the line. So y'all have an amazing night. Let us know if you have any questions that you want us to address. Comment them below. We'll comment even after the live is over. Blessings.